And yeah, I don't know, man. We could talk about this for a long time.
Yeah.
It's,
an important topic. It's something that
it really is
talking about on this podcast specifically for pretty much the entire time that this podcast has been a thing. And there really hasn't been much that's been introduced aside from like the few things you guys have been talking about. And I think recommended channels is probably the only thing close enough to adding any sort of discoverability for anybody, because nobody's going to go and just look at the very bottom of the directory. You know,
right.
Nobody wants to go watch a stream with 0 viewers. You want to have like some sort of interaction with the Twitch streamer and other people in the chat as well.
Exactly.
And I could be wrong there. I mean, I'm sure there's a few that don't mind going to somebody with 0 viewers and just, trying to help them out with, growing their channel, because I'm assuming they're probably still very new. But there just needs to be something done, because basically Twitch is kind of almost shooting themselves in the foot, because Twitch streamers are forced to go to YouTube to get discovered when their primary thing that they're trying to do is stream on Twitch. You know what I mean? Like, everybody ever has said that, like, in order to get discovered on Twitch, you got to put out YouTube content. It's so accurate. What's up, everyone? Welcome to StreamKey. We're back on this lovely Monday morning. We got 2 very new guests here that have never been on the show before. We got MicDubTV and LethalJ. So I want to introduce you to those people. We also can't forget my co-host, obviously, Sadomi.
Hello.
What's my dude. So we got these 2 new guests. I want to let them introduce themselves. We'll start off with MicDubTV. Tell us a little bit about your channel and a little bit about you, my guy.
Hello, friends. It's me. My name is Micah, also known as MicDub. My channel is MicDubTV. I'm a variety streamer. Been streaming for, since I was in college. So like 4 years ago, I think it is. Just over 4 years, but I've just started taking it seriously over the last year or so. So, variety stream. Past week, I've been playing Hearthstone, which has been kind of sick. I didn't expect that. It's been nice. My background is in film, and that's what I went to school for. I'm a cinematographer and an editor. So, in Oklahoma, those jobs are few and far between. So most of my expertise in that area has gone into my stream. So, yeah,
that's awesome, though, man.
That's me.
All right.
I just woke up too, so
still trying to get the wheels turning.
Yeah.
All right, we got LethalJ over here. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, my guy?
I gotta follow that. All right. Well, I'm LethalJ. I'm a variety caster on Twitch, even though I'm taking a little time off right now, just to find my direction, my channel. I'm also the newly, I guess you could say, lead organizer for the Chicago Community Meetup. Thank you. I guess a little bit of my background, former professional DJ, former guitar player and singer, and a huge wrestling fan.
Nice.
Yeah, that's me.
Yes.
She's got to know me real happy. All right. So a little bit about Twitch Chicago. You were saying that it's probably the biggest, like, not TwitchCon, but still Twitch event in the States, right?
So I've heard, yeah.
Okay. And you said it's in the top 3 in the world?
That's what I've also heard, too.
Okay.
I've heard Vancouver and London are the other 2 big ones.
Okay, yeah, because I'm fortunate enough to have been to a couple of the events. I didn't go to the most recent one, but they're really great. It's a lot of fun, and I highly suggest anybody like that hasn't been to one, or even if you have, you still should try to make it out to Chicago. You guys do 2 events a year. I think one in February, one in December, right?
Usually it's just a summer and a winter. We plan on the best we can. We try to avoid other cons and gaming events.
Okay, all right. And do you want to tell us a little bit about like starting out Twitch Chicago and just kind of going from there until basically where you guys are at right now?
Well, let's see. That's been an interesting journey because we just had our 10th event. Our last one was at the Metro, and for those of you guys that aren't from Chicago, if you have something like a House of Blues in your state, about the size of that. It came from the first event, which was a small event that we had in a local bar. Had maybe less than 30 people show up. We had no sponsors, and from there it kept growing to where this last event we just had right now had over 850 RSVPs, And yeah, we work with tons of great sponsors from MSI to Logitech to Voodoo Ranger. As for myself, being involved with it, I've been to every meetup so far. I met Brandon, who was the original. Well, he still is. He hasn't fully passed it on to me yet, but he's going to be involved for one more event coming up, and after that, then he's stepping down. But I met him at the very first event. Me and him are the only two people who have been to all 10 events. And basically one night, I met up with him at TwitchCon and at a Subway at 2:30 in the morning and told him, hey, man, I really want to be more of this, and we sat and had a talk, and shortly afterwards, I've been helping him out ever since.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's a really nice guy, so it's cool of him to kind of bring you along with that for sure. That's very, very cool. And now he's kind of handing it off to you, which is even better. You know what I mean? Like that's a cool journey for you. But yeah, these Twitch Chicago events are a lot of fun. You'll get a lot of cool networking and meet a lot of really great people at these things. I've never had a bad experience going to one for sure.
I'm glad to hear that. That means we're doing our job.
Oh yeah, you guys definitely are. I mean, with over 850 RSVPs, you guys are definitely doing more than one thing right. Okay, so now to get into the topics. So basically, our first topic is Facebook gaming had the biggest growth in the market between last year's 2018 December and December 2019. So in December 2018, they were at 3.1% of the market. And then so this most recent December, they were at 8.5%, which is a huge growth. I mean, obviously it's not enough to like make a huge impact like to, the king of the market, which is obviously Twitch or anything like that. But it's nice to see other platforms kind of, gaining some traction because, we're huge advocates for competition here. We definitely want to see other platforms start to grow and succeed. That way you can keep Twitch on their toes. But Twitch is sitting at 61% still. But one thing that's not included with that is the just chatting section of streaming, which is crazy because it's obviously one of the biggest categories on Twitch, if not the biggest by now. So I just want to know what you guys, if any of you guys had anything to say about that, because they're not counting one of the biggest parts of Twitch, on this pie chart, which is, it's crazy to me. So I would like to see the numbers with just chatting included. But do any of you guys have anything to say about this topic in particular?
I don't know. I think maybe they're just trying to keep it in gaming. I mean, obviously you put just chatting in there. I mean, it's not even fair, I feel like. Because again, and we'll talk about it, just how much just chatting has grown. It's kind of a big deal. And it takes up, or it accounts for a lot of Twitch's numbers these days. So,
oh, for sure, yeah, and it's interesting because like Mixer, D Live, none of these other platforms really have like a just chatting or an IRL section of streaming. Like it's all just gaming. So I guess like in order to make it fair, like you count just the gaming part of it, but still, like I feel like you can't just leave that entire section of Twitch out of it because it's huge. Sadomi, you got anything on this, my dude?
So I was thinking about this last night too. I think I don't know why just chatting is so huge. It's because just chatting is a blanket category. And even though they try to break it up into food and drink, sports and fitness, since the only way of discovering people is through the directory, people aren't going to go to smaller directories. They're going to go to bigger directories. We have more people looking at traction. And so I think this is also why we see a lot of small indie games that, unless they blow up, don't make it high on Twitch, even though it could be the best game to stream or best game to watch. Simply because they're all in their each individual categories. For instance, you have Binding of Isaac in one versus even the Pokemon games. Good example. They're all each have each individual like directory for each game versus one directory for Pokemon, which would definitely blow that entire directory up. That directory I think would be pretty high. So I think the whole blanket categories, using just chat as a blanket category helps propel its growth. So I think that number's kind of, I don't want to say inflated, because it's definitely the highest category, but Twitch breaking up that category didn't work for them in the way they wanted to. But I think they should, instead of breaking up categories, kind of mesh them together with individual games.
Okay. That makes sense. LethalJ, you got anything on this topic, my man?
When I look at just chatting, it's a category that has, like Sadomi said, it's evolved a lot into a lot of different things. I look at it as Twitch is AFK, because a lot of people switch to that category either when they're switching up games or when they're just starting out their stream. So sometimes the numbers that get pumped in there are by people not even sitting in front of the camera. So I feel there's that comes into it. Not saying that people aren't doing like their own just chatting sections of their streams, but it seems to be, in my eyes, it just comes up a lot with more like intermissions, people taking a break, stepping back from things. It's a cool category. I mean, I like it. I like to see people use it the right way, but sometimes I feel like it's just tossed out there in the wrong way,
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And Sadomi, you and me were talking about this a little bit last night about how there's a lot of marketing for, just streaming in general, not necessarily like game streaming. You want to talk a little bit about that and how it kind of correlates with what we're talking about right now?
Yeah, so you guys didn't know Elgato released a new product, and I'm going to tie this into this because the one thing I noticed was in the marketing, they weren't aiming at just gamers. I've noticed they're looking at tech reviewers, at makeup artists, at cooking channels in their marketing. So I think even they realize that streaming is more than just gaming, and I think gaming itself it's a cool category to get to stream with, but if you just think of Twitch and streaming as just playing games online, you're limiting yourself by so much because so many cool things you can do. For instance, the entire D&D blow up happened due to Critical Role, something that never happened on like platform forever. It made D&D cool again in 2015. That's crazy. So I think you'll see more companies also marketing towards streaming being more of a catch-all versus just, hey, here are the games you can stream.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I kind of dropped off. Like,
yeah,
you had the face, and I was like,
is there more
still going?
Right. So yeah, I think it's exciting to notice that for sure. I think a lot of influencers that they might only be on Instagram for right now, or they might only necessarily be on YouTube. They don't really do like the live streaming part of it. I think what's going to happen is you'll start to see some of these influencers that aren't really live streamers or even Twitch streamers for that matter. I think they're going to start moving over just to interact with their audience on a live like platform. And I think that Elgato for sure is noticing this and realizing that this is a huge market for influencers to move to. So it's smart for them, and it's interesting to see the blow up for just chatting. I think that just chatting. I think Ashley Christ has said it before. Just chatting is the future of Twitch, and I 100% agree. Because you were saying it's like a blank slate. It's not any specific game or anything. It's just the content creator and their community, and that's just them interacting the entire time. And I think that's going to keep growing, and I think it's going to blow up past any game for sure. Any other?
I mean, I agree with what Lethal was saying. I know when I start my stream, like just chatting is always what I start with. And also, like, to be honest, you see the trends with just chatting. Like, there's a ton of people in there. So if you start in just chatting and say, like, I'd like to think that my like stream starting soon screen looks really good, so it's like, if the thumbnail looks good, people will probably click on it, and then that'll transition you into what you're doing. I mean, sometimes I will start with like watching videos and like being a React Andy, as they call it these days. Also, it's getting really dark outside, so I'm gonna open my blinds, but anyway, I was like I'm in a cave. Yeah, I mean, just chatting is really interesting. I know I've done like a cooking stream on just chatting. I tried switching it to food and drink, and I was like, yeah, this isn't really popping. So I'm just gonna go back to just chatting. I mean, it's a like you guys are saying, it's a very unique. It's a very, very unique like place, because so many people are doing so many different things. You're always going to find something different. I feel like it's most of them, though. Most of the just chatting streams is either someone actually just, talking to the chat, or it's somebody like reacting to YouTube. I mean, there obviously, like I just said, there's a lot of different things that people do in there, but the majority, it seems like, is, they are actually just chatting or they're watching YouTube.
Right. A lot of YouTube and just chatting for sure.
Yeah. I think like people should use just chatting. I think Ashton Christ is right on that. Like people should be trying to work these just chatting into your stream if you don't already, because it does have a lot of positives, but I feel like the numbers are really thrown off.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it seems like the default, you start your stream there, and I think that's what's messing up the numbers in other categories as Twitch as well, is because you start your stream there, everybody flows into your chat, and then you move on to the next game, you jump the category. So all these games are getting implosions of viewers, and and everything's going up and down because you're coming in with a couple extra 100 people each time you jump into another category, as any streamer does when they change games. But when you start off, you don't get to see where these numbers are growing from. But yes, I feel people should definitely use it more often, because you should be more in tone with your audience as well as what you're playing. You have to find that balance. It can't just be all gaming.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people just want to stream, and they think streaming is literally just playing a game and talking to the people that they're playing with, and then sometimes talking to chat. When chat is the priority, the game is secondary. I totally agree with that. I definitely want to start trying to include more just chatting to my stream. I think more people are going to continue to do that. But yeah, another little tidbit on this, just to talk more into the just chatting topic. Was it Raj Patel on Twitch? So he's like a kind of like an on Twitch therapist almost. He does a lot of just chatting streams. Basically, he did in the last 30 days, he streamed 25 hours with 1 million views. And so XQC streamed 301 hours for 6.3 million views. So basically, like compared to like hours streamed compared to the amount of views, Raj Patel is crushing it, and that's in the only just chatting category. Sadomi, looks like you got something to say about this.
Oh yeah, so so if you notice between XQC and Raj Patel, if you guys don't know Raj Patel, he does a lot of different themed shows, different event shows. For instance, his last stream I think he did a $25,000 talent contest. I'm not sure the specifics of that, but compare that to what XQC does. He gets on, watches some video, or plays Overwatch, or does something like that. And you notice that I'm honestly really a strong believer that people should do more planned and more produced content on Twitch, because you don't see a lot of that, and things that in the channels you see that do a lot of that, such as Critical Role. I'll say it again because they kill it. And some cooking shows. I know there's one channel, Miss Molly Makes. She does an amazing cooking show. She starts out with some kind of trivia, then goes through, and it's like an actual cooking show, like when you see on Food Network, except with live interaction. And so I think more planned content, more produced content is going to be good. And I think everyone should give it a try, at least try something, because again, if you're growing on Twitch is you don't grow on Twitch, you grow elsewhere, and then those transfer over to Twitch, at least from everything I've kind of looked into and my own personal experience. And the Twitch directory, like, again, I always give Twitch shit for this, but there's my one for the day. If you go into the search bar and you type anything, unless you know the name of exactly what you want to find, you're not going to find it. Like if I type in funny Call of Duty, what do I get? Let me do it right now. Funny Call of Duty. I get absolutely Call of Cthulhu playing Vampire the Masquerade. I will look at that later.
Yeah, I feel like the searching needs. I don't know how they can improve it, but it needs to be improved. Like I think sorry, I'm going on a tangent now, but
no, go ahead, dude.
Like
I love tangents.
Before they added tags, they had like more specific stuff. I feel like maybe they should bring some of those tags back. I don't know. I just feel like it's like you're saying, it's really difficult to find exactly what you want on Twitch. Right. You kind of have to go searching and hope that you stumble upon like a channel that fits what you're looking for. I mean, at this point, I've been watching Twitch for, over 5 years. Well, yeah, about 5 years. So I already have the people that I watch. Like, not everybody has that. So, it's, I don't know, man. It's rough to find. I mean, if you're just a viewer, quote unquote, just a viewer, like, how are you finding, smaller streamers? It's easy to find the big streamers, like you're saying, XQC. And again, he's always on. Freaking I'm in the cave again. Like Felix is always on. Like, I've been watching him since he was an Overwatch streamer, and like, he's just always on. Like, there's very rarely an hour where you're like, oh, XQC's not streaming.
Right.
Like, he's the React Andy of Twitch.
Okay. Yeah, I think what like Twitch streamers should be able to do in order to increase discoverability is like there should be a much more in-depth tag system than what we currently have. Like, a streamer should be able to decide what their channel is, and then viewers should be able to look things up based on those tags. Like, if I wanted to put like, funny Tarkov multiplayer stream or whatever, something along those lines,
together
in depth. Yeah, exactly. Put those three things together. That way, if somebody wants to look up something like a stream that's funny, it doesn't matter what the game is. They can only do funny, but that's still like they can find a bunch of streams that way. And then you can also include tags on like, maybe the size of your channel, or maybe like that's automatically included based on the amount of viewers you have right there. That way, if they don't want to look, or that way, if they don't want to watch a bigger streamer, they don't have to. Yeah. But there needs to be like a streamer should be able to establish what their channel is. And I think the viewers should also be able to like bring some tags in as well, just to bring in like how they see your channel. And hopefully that'll just increase discoverability in that aspect. I think that could do a lot more than what we currently have, and I feel like that'd be a pretty easy implementation. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I think.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I think. Well, obviously, Twitch is a business. Like, they're owned by Amazon. Like, we all know this. They want to make money, so obviously they're going to push partners. They're going to push the people at the top already. But the fact that affiliates can make money and monetize their channel as well. I mean, Twitch is getting paid through affiliate channels as well. I mean, I feel like there's not enough, and I'm not just talking about myself or Vel or whoever else, but like, there's not enough discoverability for smaller channels or people that have, less than 75 viewers a stream. And I feel like if they added those tags that you're talking about, it could really help us a lot. I think it could also help Twitch as a platform, because most people, I mean, maybe not most people, but a lot of people come to Twitch and don't want to be in a chat that's just flooded. I mean, hell, again, like I said, I watch XQC every now and again now, but his chat is just so like ridiculous that I mean, it gets kind of annoying. I really like, people that I can interact with. And there are some larger streamers that do that. But man, there just needs to be different options for us. There's got to be different options.
For sure.
I agree.
You got anything else on this, LethalJ?
Yeah, actually, I'm of two minds when it comes to the tags. I mean, because when the tags were a popular thing when they first came out and everybody was excited about tags, not one person ever came to my channel and said, "Hey, I found you through a tag."
Right.
So that's problem one with the tags. But two, I think the tags can work if you implement them with the filtering system like you were talking about. Like, if I could go into there and say, I want to add these tags, but I want to look for streamers between 0 and 50 viewers. I think if they have a search system like that, I think that could it could greatly help finding people. I think there should also be like a lottery or like a I'm feeling lucky button like they do on Google. Why can't you just click that one button and it just randomly gives you a streamer instead of let you pick from 5 that they put on the front page? Just let it keep rolling. That could be another way to get great discoverabilities. Also, maybe implement the Prime into that. Maybe say if you go through 5 streamers today, we're gonna let you Prime sub to one of them. Or if you follow 5 lottery streamers, then something like that.
Okay.
You like an emote or something, And again, they have like, obviously with the tags in place that they have now, you can search through those tags, but they're just not specific enough. And also, as far as numbers, because let's be honest, like Twitch numbers is like the biggest thing, So to not be able to search between like this many viewers and this many viewers is kind of silly to me. Like, you can go to the bottom of the directory, you can go to the top, and then I think it's like recommended or relevant. There's not really any in between. And yeah, I don't know, man. We could talk about this for a long time.
Yeah.
It's
an important topic. It's something that
it really is
talking about on this podcast specifically for pretty much the entire time that this podcast has been a thing. And there really hasn't been much that's been introduced aside from like the few things you guys have been talking about. And I think recommended channels is probably the only thing close enough to adding any sort of discoverability for anybody, because nobody's going to go and just look at the very bottom of the directory. You know,
right.
Nobody wants to go watch a stream with 0 viewers. You want to have like some sort of interaction with the Twitch streamer and other people in the chat as well.
Exactly.
And I could be wrong there. I mean, I'm sure there's a few that don't mind going to somebody with 0 viewers and just, trying to help them out with, growing their channel, because I'm assuming they're probably still very new. But there just needs to be something done, because basically Twitch is kind of almost shooting themselves in the foot, because Twitch streamers are forced to go to YouTube to get discovered when their primary thing that they're trying to do is stream on Twitch. You know what I mean? Like, everybody ever has said that, like, in order to get discovered on Twitch, you got to put out YouTube content. And it's so accurate. But
and
like,
sorry.
Go ahead, dude. Do your thing.
I mean, I started on YouTube. I mean, again, I have TV in my name. I get jokes all the time about, TTV, by the way. I'm like, no, it's just one T. But anyway,
it's a huge difference. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge
it's
difference.
like, if you have TTV, then you're saying you're on Twitch TV, but you're already on Twitch. So anyway, I mean, I started on YouTube in college when I was I still have my YouTube, but it's shameless plug, but film and gaming content. So when I switched over, wait a second, I just totally lost my train of thought, boys. What were we talking about? Wait, we're talking about YouTube. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. We're back, boys. Okay. So, but I stopped doing YouTube for so long because they changed like the monetization. They were like, you have to have this many subs before you get paid. Like they switched all of that stuff, and I felt like I was getting some traction, so that kind of de-incentivized me. But I'm like, this year, I want to see growth in my Twitch channel, and I'm seeing it, but I want to see more. Right. So I'm like, I need to be putting out YouTube content. And again, like I said, I'm an editor. Like I have the expertise to do that and make good content, but I just didn't want to put in the work because I was like, it's not really going to help me. But again, you kind of have to have that discoverability some way, because again, as we said, you're not really getting that on Twitch unless you're playing like new games with not as much or not as large of an audience. Obviously, Val, I know you've been playing Tarkov, and I actually have been checking on you, and your growth is actually going up. It seems like, but at the same time, he's cool. But I mean, I don't know how often you check in yours, but I've gone in there and I've been like, all right, let's go. But yeah, like Tarkov, especially now, is like a little harder to stream because a lot more people are getting into it. But again, like I said, last week I was streaming Hearthstone. That's always in the top 10. But my viewership like doubled. That's awesome. That's a good way to, branching out is always a good way to, bring people to your stream, especially when it's getting stagnant. But, having YouTube, being active on Twitter, there's been so many people that I've discovered on Twitter in the past 6 months who now have like tens of thousands of followers just from Twitter. And that's translated to their Twitch channel, like blowing up. Like Luxy Games, Ashley Robato, she's blown up. Both of them are partnered now. Seti, his name's Green Dumpling on Twitch, I think. He's hilarious. He's kind of blown up. I mean, the number of people that are using Twitter to, turn that into viewership on Twitch is insane. Right. And I know Ashley
Play with Jambo is a huge one for that one. If you guys follow Play with Jambo on Twitter, her Twitter posts are hilarious, and it's definitely starting to help her out on her Twitch stream as well. And she's one of the funniest people I've ever met. So just a little shout out to Play with Jambo. Sorry. Yeah, and Ashley Christ just put out a video about using Twitter. So you guys should go check that out. I haven't looked at it yet, but she always makes great content.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, the Step actually posted something in the chat that kind of made me laugh, but it's also kind of true. He says, if you want to make it big on this platform, you must make top-notch content on this other unrelated platform, which is essentially what Twitch is saying with their lack of discoverability. Like, if they want to actually help us out, they need to do something on their own channel instead of just expecting us to get discovered however we can. You know what I mean? Like, like,
I thought that was
and then F off,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
for sure.
I thought he was making a subtle shot at OnlyFans, but
no, I mean, honestly, like OnlyFans is just another thing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
just putting out content somewhere else to get discovered on Twitch. You know what I mean? It's LethalJ, do you have anything else on this one, my guy?
Yeah, just one more thing. They should be showing us that they want to have discoverability for us. Yes, you give us the option to do from highest to lowest. And that's cool and all, but and that's why, like, some small streamers stay away from top games and stuff like that because they're always afraid they're not gonna be able to be viewed. Why can't that be the same policy for the front page of Twitch? Why can't I? Because I always have to scroll down to find the small streamers that they want to promote. Like, a lot of people don't scroll down. That we live in that world where you click on the top 5, and most people will stay there just because it's the new thing. Especially when you're bringing new people onto a platform. They never scroll to the bottom first. New people always stick with the top because they want to be with the coolest streamers and the coolest games. So if they want to show us that, do that with the front page as well. Put those streamers up at the very top, have them auto playing at the top of the the page, and say that this is the future. I think that it would be a good start.
Yeah, Sadomi, I know you gotta have something to say by now, man.
So I want our guests go in for because I love hearing other people's opinions because, like I said, I know what I know, y'all know what you know, so therefore it helps me form stuff. So, and I say this all the time too. Dear God, Twitch, can we just promote our clips better?
Right.
I have one really good. I have one really good clip, which I'm sure people who've seen it know what it is. It's great. I pee myself on stream. It's funny at the moment.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, you saw this.
Pretend that's a super casual thing that people do.
Yeah. What, you never peed yourself in public before?
Stream.
Oh well. Anyway, but yeah. So there's no way to really promote a clip besides posting it elsewhere. Like on platform, all we need is the freaking clips page. It was like, hey, I pulled my headphones out 1 sec, but I keep talking. I don't care. So, top quarter. So, if you had like just a page where it shows your top clips of every streamer on Twitch, and people could upvote those or just downvote those, bring those up, or so you search by clips, by tags, or just whatever. Because clips, people have very short attention spans. Very short attention spans. How often have you clicked on an hour video and be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this whole thing? How often do you scroll by on Facebook and see a 5-second video and you're like, I'm too lazy to unmute. Boom.
Yeah.
Listen to it.
Don't they say that you have less than 10 seconds to get someone's attention when they come into your stream before they move on to someone else?
Yeah,
it's less than that even.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Like the minute your audio sounds scuffed, it's over.
Oh yeah, there's so many other streamers that, like, if there's an issue with your channel, a new viewer's probably not going to take their time to like tell you that there's an issue. They're just going to go to somebody else. Yeah, there's plenty of other choices out there with content that's not jacked up. So you gotta be on your A game. That's like always. It's so competitive. You can't have any hiccups. So real quick, we have a question from Mr. Pure Instinct. He says, what advice do you guys have for just chatting? I've tried them a few times and I always feel like it flops. I never have enough to keep talking about or keep up chat interaction. So Sadomi, we'll start with you on this one.
So, and mind you, everything I'm talking about is just my ideas. I've tried a few of these. Some of them have worked, some of them have not. But the one thing I think would really help too, if you kind of prepared at least like a 5-topic list, if you can, before stream. It doesn't have to be anything major. It could just be what you ate this morning if you really want to talk about that. It has to be something that keeps you going, because one thing I say it's a problem some streamers has is letting your viewers dictate your content, which directly means if you don't have anything to say on stream yourself, you rely on chat. Don't rely on chat, just because that's very... You want as much control as you possibly can. And for smaller streamers, your chat may not always be popping. You may have like 10 lurkers and we got one guy chatting. who's just kind of sitting there at work saying like one word answers, hey, what's up? So you got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet first and foremost. And if you say anything interesting, people will respond usually. And I'm not saying be controversial, although that will usually help you incite conversation. And this is more just kind of general tips too for talking on stream. If you just want to bring up your own like thoughts, ideas, topics, because people come to streams not just for gameplay, they come to get value for something. Like people listen to me, usually listen to me about talk about streaming stuff, talk about what I noticed in the streaming space. That's something people come to me for. And so I will talk about that. And that's something that people find value in me. I know someone like MPI, he's reliable in the morning, coffee, good thing to listen to at work. Boom, you gotta keep that moving, keep that rolling on. Like, boom, what coffee you got? How'd you get that coffee? Why you drink this coffee versus that coffee? What's your opinion on this black coffee? And when's your own personal coffee company or coffee flavor coming out? Oh, exactly. But yeah, that's my answer for that one.
Okay. I like what you're saying about, just keeping the conversation going yourself. I've been trying to do this thing lately where I'm trying not to ask chat so many questions if I notice that chat is kind of at a lull, because you don't want to seem like you're desperate for that chat interaction. You should just be comfortable in whatever situation that you're in as a streamer. So in order to like build on the appearance of your confidence as a streamer and everything, I'm trying to avoid asking, all right, chat, like what's everybody got going on today? If nobody's like said anything in a couple minutes, I'll try to spark up my own conversation. I'll just talk about my day or do whatever I can, or I'll just try to make something funny out of the situation in the game that I'm playing, as opposed to trying to pull a conversation out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Just because as a new viewer, if you see that chat isn't really talking and the streamer's trying to pull chat into talking, you lose a little bit of like, I don't know, you lose a little bit of that confidence look that like that a streamer should have when they're running their own channel. And so I've been trying to work on that, and I want to know what you guys think about that, or if this is something that you guys want to start doing. Like if you guys can understand like where I'm getting at with this, because you don't want to seem like you're desperate for that chat interaction, like I was saying,
Now that I think about it, I feel like, and I think I do a pretty good job of, being able to, hold a conversation with myself if need be. But I definitely have thought about a couple of times in the past week where I've just been like, hey, Chad, so, I don't know, I did that voice.
Perfect voice.
I'm going to keep it. Hey, Chad, so, how's it going? How's it going today, guys? And
right.
It's like, and you're thinking, well, shit, nobody's saying anything. So, and yeah, you definitely don't want to seem desperate for interaction, which I high key am. I like interaction. Sure. Obviously, all of us want the interaction. Otherwise, like we would just be gaming or like and not streaming. We want to be able to interact with people, but at the same time, you kind of have to remember where you came from and where you are now and what got you to here. And like most of us, I think, came from a place where, I started streaming when I was on console in college. And, if chat wasn't popping, there was just like silence. Then again, I didn't have a camera. But now it's like, if you exude that confidence, people are going to like that. Or if you know what you're talking about, say if you like Vel, when you're playing Tarkov, like if chat's not popping, then you can basically just talk about what you're doing in the game. Or talk about, man, I had a great scav run a couple of hours ago and I haven't been able to do it again. Let's try to get it this time. Like that at least shows the audience that you're engaged with your own content.
Exactly.
Because if you don't seem engaged with what you're doing, then no one else is going to be engaged with what you're doing. So it's just like, I think that's something that all of us need a reminder of, especially when you have those streams where like it's not as talkative as you want. So
right. And I see a couple of people in the chat that say that they're guilty of doing this exact same thing. I know like every streamer ever has tried to be like, chat, how's everybody doing today? Or like, what's everybody got going on this weekend? You can only ask that so many times in one stream, let alone in a single week. You know what I mean? Before it's like, you've already asked us what we're going to be doing this weekend, or you already asked us what we're doing right now. We're all watching you make content. do this.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
I was
me, please.
I was streaming a stress. Sorry, Lethal.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
But I was streaming a stress test for this game coming out on the 21st called Tim Tim. It's like a Pokemon.
Oh, it's coming out?
A Pokemon style MMO, or it's going to be in early access. So
okay.
On the 21st. But I mean, yeah. Have you? I assume you've seen it. It looks really good. But the stress test was on Saturday, and I was streaming it, and I totally forgot that it was a stress test. And I mean, it was pretty slow. There were a lot of bugs. I was trying to get chat interaction, and there was just like none. And I was like, and I'm pretty sure I audibly said, "Oh, well, no, I won't say anything." I was like, as soon as I said that, I was like, Mike, that's not what you're supposed to say out loud. You got to keep that in. But again, I mean, we all have those times. So anybody in chat that's like, shit, that's me. Just we all go through it. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. I like what all you guys said on this. I think that there's a lot of things that come in play. You should be talking about things that you're comfortable about. Things that are your favorite things when you're not streaming. You know, if you love music, talk about music, talk about the songs you heard on the radio. Don't go to dead end questions about like, how is your day or how are you guys doing that you need a response back from. Have them be open questions. Thank you. Also, you know, I always tell everybody when you're streaming, everything that pops to your head, you should be thinking out loud. But with the filter, you know, you can't say anything on stream, you know?
Like with what I just said.
Yeah. But like, you know, be comfortable with it. Don't depend on your audience. And you know, you guys can pull up your viewers list when you're streaming. If you see the same people in there like an hour later, you don't have to ask that same question, like Veli was saying. Like, you don't have to say like, how are your guys, you know, days doing again? Like, you don't have to do that again because you know those are the same people in there. So, you know, respect your audience and they'll respect you for that. But like I said, don't come up with the dead end questions, because the dead end questions are just going to be leaving you like a comedian waiting for the audience to laugh on a punchline, you know, and like just crickets, you know. It's like, okay, like now how do you feel after that? You know, when people come to your streams, they not only do they want to come there for the game, there are people that come there just for the game, and that happens. But a lot of people come for the streamer. And a lot of people come because they want to know more about you yourself. And that's why the other forms of social media that we have, like Twitter, especially, like when you're out and about and you want to include people in your day, like just say, hey guys, I'm, you know, out at McDonald's right now, or I'm at the movies, I'm going to go see this, you know, like they want to know more about you besides what they see in front of the camera when you're playing the game. You know I have a green screen right here because I'm moving stuff around behind me, but usually I use my room. Like, they're going to ask questions about the things behind you. Like, they want to know, like, where does that door go? And you know, and stuff like that. So just like try to be comfortable with what you're talking about. And then also, just like I said, just don't leave those questions to where you feel like your audience is just going to be like I got to help him. Like, don't make them feel like they have to help. Make them feel like they could be involved with it, you know?
Right. It's their way of like getting away from their day-to-day lives and just kind of like getting a break and just hanging out with you and enjoying your content. And I saw somebody in the chat saying something along the lines of like, you can only do so much without repeating yourself, that like even if chat isn't talking, there's still like it's almost like the way that they worded it, it's like you almost have to pull chat. But like that's really not the case. And like if you want to seem like an actual confident streamer, which obviously all of us do, like you want to look like you know what you're doing, you want to look like you're comfortable in your chair running your own channel and doing your thing. It's just something that like it's really difficult for sure to just keep a conversation going without asking people how they're doing 100 times. Really difficult. But if you can force yourself to work on that every day, and like you should be forcing yourself to be a better streamer in a bunch of different ways. Like today's stream shouldn't necessarily be easy the entire time. You know what I mean? Because if it's easy, then you weren't trying to better yourself at doing it. You shouldn't just be like 100% comfortable, but you should give off the appearance of, I know what I'm doing and I'm not desperate for chat interaction. If chat's there, they want to talk, that's one thing. But if they want to sit here and watch and let me do my thing, that's also fine as well. You should be able to create content, whether there's people talking or not. Because if they're not talking, then it becomes YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this definitely will not be something that you will conquer day one,
right,
of streaming. And here's the best part that could help each and every individual out there. You have a VOD that you can go back and watch afterwards.
Yeah.
Or
you should have it set up.
Yeah, you should have it set up, and you should go back and look at that, because if you can't watch your own content, why do other people want to watch your content?
Right.
And before, I was gotta say this too: if you don't have VODs turned on, click out of this podcast right now and turn you are wasting your freaking time if you don't have your VODs on.
Right.
And this applies to everything in your stream.
Yeah, my friend Mac, she didn't have hers turned on the other day. I was like,
Smack her.
You have to have. No, I won't do that. She's in jujitsu, but I'd get clapped.
It applies to everything, though. It's not just talking, though, guys. If you want to improve your streams, that VOD is literally your best lead that you're ever going to get. People are afraid to tell you what's wrong with your stream because they don't want you to dislike them. You know, they'll tell you what they like before what they don't like. You have to be the one to figure out why they should be watching this stuff. So not just with what you say on, watch for in that VOD, also watch what you do and what you should change. I've lived by this one rule on Twitch, and I have a couple rules, but the one that I do live by the most is you could be happy with what you produce. You don't have to be a perfectionist here, because if you're a perfectionist, you will burn yourself out. Be happy, give yourself amount of time to work on a project, get it done, and be happy with what you produce when you're done. But afterwards, tell yourself it could be better and move on from there. I've watched old clips from years ago, and I'm like, man, I really was so happy when I was done making that scene. And now I'm like, oh my God, I don't know why. Put that out there,
Right.
So definitely. I would just your VODs. That's the key to help.
They're very important. And also, also clips, share those to Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to do that a lot more this year. I think I did it a few times last year, but you can download the clips after you make them. You can put them on Twitter. You can put them, obviously you can put, highlights or clips on YouTube. But Twitter, if you put clips on Twitter, make sure you have the right tags or the right hashtags. And also if people go to your Twitter and you want to grow your channel, make sure that you have all of that stuff there. Otherwise, you got to have brand continuity, man. People on Twitch, a lot of people, especially starting out, even some people who have been doing it for a while and want to see their stuff grow, they don't think about their brand enough. It's Vel, when I met you in Seattle, I have my MicDubTV shirt on. Dude, you guys gotta. Branding is everything.
It's huge.
Well, not everything. But
IMO.
It's a big thing.
So I'll say branding is everything, because branding is not just your name, the colors you use. It's your actions, how people perceive you. For instance, I've heard this last night in a prison documentary. You can take 30 years to build a reputation and 30 seconds to kill the whole thing So, and right now, I probably have the worst branding I've ever met in my life. I literally am a contradiction of everything I say. So that's something I'm personally going to improve in the future. But, and you can even notice too, you notice people who have, your personality is your brand too. If you are constantly known as a guy who gets mad easily at things, or who argues people on Twitter, people will know you for that. And that stays forever, because the internet is forever, y'all. Yeah. It's forever, especially in this nowadays. The only reason it will disappear is because there's too much information out there. Right. But someone is dedicated enough, they will find it. So with branding, always, and don't, this is exactly a say as I don't, do as I say. But everything you do, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. People are always watching, always, every single minute.
So McKeeves in the chat says, I just get pretty bad anxiety watching my own VOD back, because I only ever see the problems and it just makes me feel crappy. And I totally understand this. I'm sure everybody here has had this issue where you go back and look at your VOD and you think, wow, I'm really not that entertaining, or wow, my voice really sucks. And do that on days where you're already done with your stream for the day. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to go into your next stream immediately after that, just thinking about the bad that you just saw on your own channel. Do that towards the end of the day, And like what I like to do is like when I'm feeling really overly analytical about myself, I like to write down these thoughts that I have about myself as a streamer, and like I criticize myself, and it's almost to the point of like being like aggressive. You know what I mean? It's like if I was hearing it from someone who didn't care about my feelings when they were saying it. You know what I mean? Because you have to be able to be open to that constructive criticism to better yourself as a streamer. If streaming is something that you do want to make a full-time thing, it can't just be I'm streaming on Twitch today, why aren't people watching me? It has to be I'm streaming on Twitch and this is the content that I'm happy with making, and this is why it's better than the other options that are out there. And if you're not growing yourself as a streamer, your content is just 100% not going to be better than the other content that's out there. And it's that competitive where you have to like almost emotionally crush yourself a little bit and realize your flaws in order to build on top of those and become better as a streamer and better as just a person altogether. Has anybody here had any experiences with any of that?
Yeah. So I'm going to talk as though I don't have emotions, because that's the best way I can kind of approach it. If you have anxiety about watching yourself perform and fixing your mistakes, then you have a mindset that isn't conducive to being like successful. Just because look at pro athletes, okay? Every athlete that looks at film, they don't go like, oh, I did that play good. I did that play good. I did that play good. No, they're like, okay, I don't care what I did good. I know what I did good. I did it. So I want to see what I can improve on, what I messed up on. Oh, I made a bad tackle right there when I could have just double wrapped instead of, went for arm tackle. I could have stayed more square to the ball. They're looking for parts to improve upon, and they don't get sad about that because that's not their point. They're not trying to get sad. They're trying to get better. And that's what they're trying to focus on, getting better. Because right now they don't care how they feel about it. They care what happens after it. Their eyes are set on the goal of getting better at getting to a certain point. Anybody who wants to make the NFL doesn't look at a pass play that they made and goes, darn, man, I suck. I should never play football again, because that's not going to get you anywhere. And thoughts turn to action. So the more you think negatively about yourself, the more you're going to perform negatively. So you have to go in the mindset like, okay, I messed up here. I sucked here. I got to fix that. I got to practice this. So instead of doing 10 push-ups today, I'm just going to do 10 sprints so I can be faster, so I can keep energy, so I can perform better. Okay. So, like I said, I'm taking all mental, emotional part out of this because I don't deal with that stuff well. Focus on getting better and just zero in on focus on getting better, and you won't have time, I think, to feel that way.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'll go a little bit of the opposite way with this, because this just popped up in the news recently. There was the new Star Wars movie came out recently. I'm not gonna, no spoilers or anything. I haven't even seen it. Okay,
I still haven't seen it.
It's amazing.
But the guy, one of the main actors in there, was on a talk show, and he walked out of the studio because they showed him clips of the movie, and he is very self-conscious about seeing what he does as an actor. So he walked out of the studio. When this comes into your anxiety about you saying you can't watch your own content because you get anxiety from it, his situation's a little different because he's already at the A tier. Like Ninja could go back and watch his content and doesn't have to, because he's at that A tier. So his is a little bit different. I would say the best advice I can give you on that is start off with little baby steps with it. Okay, don't watch it. Listen to it. Put it on in the background while you go to bed. Start there. But you're gonna have to take criticism in this industry, and you're going to have to pat yourself on the back when you need to pat yourself on the back, because not everything you see has to be negative, even if it's not the most popular thing out there. Say you put like a certain graphic on your screen. Maybe it's not the coolest graphic that you put out there, and not everybody likes it, but you like it, then leave it in your content because you like it. You have to be happy with what you produce. So that'd probably be the best advice I give to you about dealing with anxieties, because I've dealt with anxieties myself. I'm a huge advocate for mental health when it comes to streaming. You should be happy with you. At the end of the day, you got to decide. I guess every streamer has to go through this, and some streamers don't even realize they're going through this when they first start. But like, are you a content creator or are you chasing a check mark? Like, which one are you? And like, sometimes you could be both, but that's just like everybody's saying they want to be a variety caster because they don't know which direction they want to go in.
Yep.
Anyway, Lethal, I'm glad you answered that way. I like having the different like perspectives. That really is like, that's like my thing. I love when people think differently. Man, I love seeing how the people think. So that's really, thank you.
Yep. I just like I said, I came a little prepared for this. I was listening to last week's podcast. I saw you put everybody on the spot last week. I'm like, that is my first one. Nope.
For those of you that don't know, Sadomi came super prepared for one of his own questions last week and didn't tell anybody that he was going to be asking us these super difficult questions.
I'm ready, yo.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Micah, what you got on this one, my dude? Watching your VODs and the anxiety of seeing the faults that you have as a streamer.
I'll start with VODs. I used to watch my VODs more than I do now. I think this is a reminder that I should continue watching my stuff, especially because I have goals for this year that I want to hit. And if I don't know that my content is like at the level that I want it to be at, then I've got to make some changes. I will say, I agree with what Lethal was saying. If you're not happy with your own content, then I mean, it's just not good. I mean, you don't have to keep it out there. I mean, there have been times I've deleted VODs because I've been like, that's a bad stream. Or mostly Overwatch streams where I've been like, oh, well, I tilted. I don't really want to tilt on stream. And that was a bad look. So I deleted the VOD. I was like, I don't want that to be out there. I want my best content to be, or all the content that's accessible, I want it to be the best that it can possibly be. Whether that's here on Twitch, whether that's YouTube, whether that's, tweets, you want to make sure that everything that you do is, I mean, obviously you don't want to be fake. Like everybody wants to put out the best version of themselves. But I think it is important to look at your content because, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that are like, they just assume that they crush it every stream. And that's nice to have that confidence, but like, dude, you're probably not crushing it every stream.
That's actually true though.
I mean, there's something that you can do better in every stream, whether that's being on time, whether that's, not having your intro screen up for 15 minutes, and making sure that you have all of your stuff ready before you go live, which I've had problems with. Usually I'll have my starting soon screen up for about 10 minutes, which is fine. People will come in. But still, like, you can always look back. And just like, you want to be able to enjoy your content. Sometimes you can think, oh, you had a bad stream, but you can go back and look, and maybe you came off, maybe it came off that you're having a much better time than you actually were. I mean, and you're like, okay, maybe I will keep that VOD up. I don't know, but what was the second part of that question? Sorry. That was it. You started with
that was it.
Oh, mental health, I think, with, streaming.
And realizing your flaws as a content creator and trying to build on that.
I mean, yeah, when you review your own content, I mean, it just forces you to look your shortcomings in the eye, but it also forces you to look at what you did well. I think also every now and again, it's good to, send like a highlight to someone or to a group of people and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? And it's been a long time since I've done this, but I did it a couple of years ago, and I sent it to some friends. I sent like a highlight to some friends, or a couple of highlights from my stream to a couple of friends who don't watch, just to see what they said. And like, they gave me some good feedback. I mean, that's something I don't think a lot of people do.
I like that. I really do like that.
But yeah, I think, I can't remember where I got that. I think that may have been an idea I got from Ashley, to be honest. She's really good at what she does. Again, Ashley Christ, shout out. She is
really good.
She's like a stream coach, and she has a good YouTube channel. But yeah, guys, that's one thing I think you should do. Even if you don't do it a lot, maybe say, okay, this is a good stream that I had. I'm going to take a highlight from this, send it to 5 people. I'm going to take a stream that I don't feel that was that great, get a little highlight from that, send it to another 5 people, or the same, and see what they say.
Okay. And so just to kind of build on top of the VOD like discussion that we're having, when you did delete the VOD, when you realized that you kind of blew up a little bit over the top on that stream, you said you didn't want that to be out there. Did you try every stream to not necessarily like get as salty as you did on that specific stream? Like, have you tried to be more positive?
Well, it happens every now and again. I'm a really competitive person. I don't know if my mod Captain Cool Cat is watching right now, but I mean, if he's in chat, he will say, "Yeah, I can get salty." I got salty at Hearthstone last week, so
right,
and that's a card game. So I mean, mostly I'm cool. But yeah, when you have those moments, you're like, man, I don't want that to happen again, because for me, it's not about, oh, don't get mad on stream, because some people, when you get mad on stream, it's entertaining. For me, when I get tilted, like legitimately tilted, it hurts my content. I'm not like, it's not like I'm yelling slurs. I mean, it's just to a point where I'm like, I'm disengaged from my content being good, because I'm so into the moment of the game, and it throws me off in my groove, because usually when I stream, I feel like I have a certain vibe, and when that gets disrupted, it doesn't make for great content. So again, it doesn't happen a ton. You want to make sure that doesn't happen a ton, because I don't know, everybody, I don't know what you guys do to prepare for streams, or if you just click going live or what, but I feel like I have a certain feeling, like I feel upbeat, and I'm like, all right, let's go, let's get it. And then we go live. When that gets disrupted, I mean, nobody wants to see that,
Right, absolutely. It looks like we have a caller trying to get in. We got his name is Dirty Brit. Now you guys know him as the British Avenger.
Hey,
so once
it's Brit.
Once Vince gets the scene switched over, I'll get him added.
All right, sweet.
All right, let's now 1 sec.
Brit's nice.
Also, big shout out to Jay and Mike for joining us today.
It's me,
man. I'm just happy to be here. I followed the podcast for quite some time, and yeah, it's just an honor to be here.
Beautiful, great having y'all here.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys asking me to do it. Vel was like, "Hey, want to be on a podcast?" I was like, "Dude, I have film and radio experience. I've been waiting to do a podcast."
Hell yeah,
but we're in, brother.
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you guys doing?
Always good. What you got for us?
So recently I've been trying to dab into like platforms besides Twitch, and I think it was like maybe a bit after Christmas I started doing like morning videos on Instagram, and it was doing well, but then I got to a point where like, what the hell do I do now? Like, I just was running out of ideas to do. And like, what should I like put in the video and everything else? So like, how do you prep for like content on other platforms besides Twitch?
Okay, so are you talking about streaming on a different platform, or doing extra content on like YouTube?
Doing extra content like YouTube, Instagram, and like all of that.
Okay, so I'll start with Sadomi on this, because he's actually been doing this kind of stuff recently.
Sure. So, Brett, question for you. First thing I want to ask is, how many pieces of content do you put out in a day? About?
What I used to do was like every day, pretty much.
I mean, how many pieces? Like a numerical? How many?
It could be up to like 2 or 3 a day.
Did you say 12 or 3?
I said 3 a day.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Okay. So what I think would be good for you is if you start getting the practice down for just making different things, like just whatever comes to your mind for like a month, just do it. and see what sticks, see what feels good, see what, because right now you want to build the muscles to do other things. Because right now, let's say, are you posting YouTube videos? Are you posting Twitter videos? You said Instagram videos. Are you doing anything outside Instagram videos?
Probably just YouTube and Instagram.
Okay. And so what do you post on YouTube?
Recently it's just coaching videos. Like
Like Rainbow Six Siege?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to look up your channel real quick, take a look at it, but we'll do that a little differently. Quick answer, I'll say just do a lot of different things. Start out with, just so you get like the muscles behind it, and then once you start getting the muscles behind it, you start learning what you can do better each time, what you can kind of improve on, and what you can kind of do to help you set up to make more stuff and better stuff. So I think kind of just want to do the workout part of it, just kind of bang out as much as you can and get like the muscles building. Does that answer your question, or am I kind of a bit far off?
No.
Okay.
So, is it either MicDub or Lethal? You guys got anything on this one?
I could chime in a little bit on this.
Yeah.
And
Do it
this
up,
because I'm on the opposite side of this. I have not done the YouTube area yet. It's something that I definitely been looking into when I do come back to streaming, because I know that's a very important thing. And just the fact that you're calling in right now is you're looking for those answers. Just even though I haven't done that yet, I've still been looking for those answers myself. And the things I found along the way are, if you're gonna do things on YouTube, from my understanding of it, the best thing I would say is don't overstretch the content. So like, if you're brainstorming ideas, come up with 10 ideas, because things come out in series sometimes, so like, if you watch your favorite show on Netflix, there's 10 episodes. Just come up with 10 episode ideas before you even start putting out the content. I think that could be a good start. Secondly, I would say look at some of your favorite YouTubers that you want to be like, and realize that they're not perfect. If you go, like, there's been a lot of names that have been tossed around here today. If you go back and look at any of these people that have been coaches in any category, look at their recent video and then go all the way back to their very first video and see how much they've improved along the way. Because no channel, you could put out content like right away and the channel could take a turn. Like there have been channels like I watch Harris Heller and Ashney. Like I've seen their channels take a turn and then they just found what was good for them and they went in that direction. So in the beginning, I would say just fire in all different directions. But I would do them a season at a time and see what works and see what you like and what you don't like, and then go from there. If that helps.
MicDub?
Like I said, I used to do YouTube more so. I don't think you can really go wrong. Just make sure, especially with YouTube, since you can take more time with it, just to make sure that you double and triple check your content and make sure that it's, at the level that you want it to be. And if it's not, seek help for that. Because again, YouTube is, I feel like YouTube is tough in its own right. But like I said, you also have more time to develop that content because it's pre-made, like it's edited content. So I think just make sure that you have the facts down. If you're doing like coaching videos and stuff, obviously a lot of it is your opinion and kind of things that you would do. Just make sure like your audio is good. Make sure this is all basic stuff, but like make sure your audio is good or as good as you can possibly make it. Make sure that you're exporting in the highest quality that you can. And also make sure to end the video with like your socials and all that stuff. Some people even have them on the screen in like the bottom left or right during the video, just so it's like ever present and people are like, okay, well, this is Britt's content. Like I know him on his YouTube channel, but he has a Twitch channel. Oh, he has a Twitter. Let me go check that out. He seems like a nice guy. So kind of hopefully that answered some of it, but
One thing that I'll say is that like the content that you do put out on YouTube, you're putting it out there so that you can be discovered on Twitch easier. So if you do put stuff out on YouTube, try not to put stuff out that has a lot of competition already. Like everybody has like a Rainbow Six Siege montage, and if that's how you're trying to get discovered, that's not going to be necessarily the best thing for you. Maybe the coaching videos like you're doing right now, maybe those will help. I'm not really sure. I don't know how many people look that kind of stuff up. But you could see some traction for it. I would keep doing that for a little bit, keep working on perfecting your videos, perfecting yourself as a YouTube content creator, and just make those videos the best that you can. And if that doesn't work out, just keep looking into ideas that you think people would be searching for that there isn't a lot of competition for, because you're not trying to compete for discoverability in two difficult places. You're trying to stream on Twitch where it's really hard to get discovered, and put content somewhere else so that can get discovered easier and have those viewers or that audience translate over to Twitch. You know what I mean? So you don't want to be fighting two fights at the same time. You want to make one as easy as possible while still making really great content for it to hopefully generate some of those views over to what you're currently doing. So I would just, keep doing what you're doing. And like everybody here has been saying, just if, like try this out in a specific amount of time. And then if you notice that that's not really working out, don't really stress about it too much. Just move on to another idea that you have and just keep building off of that. And you'll get better at making content regardless of like what it is. So like say this doesn't really pan out, the whole Rainbow Six coach thing. Say it doesn't pan out, you're still going to be better at making videos for whatever the next series is. So just keep trying, man. Keep doing things that you're passionate about, and just keep grinding. That's all that we can really say on that, I guess.
Actually, I can add one more thing to that.
Ooh,
actually,
we got more.
So he's doing is this Rainbow Six the content coach? Okay, so here's another thing, and this just might help with that too. Find all the other people that are putting out content for that category, watch their videos, and find out what they're not saying, because a lot of times when I go out and watch YouTube videos, I'm looking for one piece of information and no one's saying it in those videos. So if you could find the one piece of information that they're not saying and make a video about that, you're already standing out amongst the rest of the competition out there and putting yourself ahead, because you're one of the things that's on Twitch or any type of content creation is what it means to be first. And if you're the first person to talk about something that they forgot to say, then you're already ahead of the game.
Yep.
That's huge. That's very huge. Hopefully what you got, Sadomi?
Oh yeah. So Britt, I'm not gonna go into deep dive here, but I took a look at all your stuff for a bit, and I want to talk to you after stream if you got some time. I can sit down with you. How long you got?
As long as you need.
Okay, cool.
Go.
All right. I'll see you at I'll see you at 1:15 p.m. So an hour from now. Okay. Perfect.
Awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, hopefully you guys are able to talk a little bit more about that, Britt, and hopefully we're able to help you out. You got anything else for us?
No, but thank you for the advice.
Yeah, for sure, man. Anytime.
I always wanted to talk to him. I've heard him on past broadcasts. I've always wanted to talk to him. I like that he's here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He calls in every week, man.
Good dude.
He does. And every week I was like, oh, I would love to respond to this. And now I finally get a chance to.
Yep. So we got a question from BlackRock14 in the chat. He says, how do you keep viewers' attention from raids/hosts, etc.? I noticed a drop after a few minutes. So I have my own thing on this, but I want to start out, like, whoever wants to start first can talk about this. If any of you guys have had any, Sadomi is already on it. There we go.
Yeah. So here's the thing about hosts and raids. You have zero control over, well, I don't say zero control, but you have very little control over who hosts and raids you, and you have very little time to predict when that happens. Yeah. So I wouldn't put too much stock in trying to retain as many if it breaks you off for what you already normally do. Because the thing about raiding and hosting, what I've noticed is, I'm sure you've all been part of hosts and raids that you didn't care for just because you were there for one thing. It's not what you were looking for. So you dip out. I do it all the time. And it is nice to share communities with people. But you also have to remember that some people will raid their friends, even though they're doing something completely different. Like I'll be playing Rocket League back in the day, and I'll host my friend who's doing fitness streaming. So I say it's kind of make sure you have a good introduction and a good call to action, and then there just kind of see what works, what doesn't work. Again, audiences are different. If Veli rated me, I'll still see a better retention than if Amarith rated me.
Mm-hmm.
So even though there's more people, it's based on audience, based on what people are looking for.
Yeah.
And if people aren't looking for what you're streaming at the moment, that's okay. Not every audience is meant for every show. So I wouldn't stress too much about people leaving after a raid. It's not you. It's literally them. So I wouldn't stress too much about it, but definitely have a plan for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well said.
Lethal.
Well said.
Well, I've been in a lot of these situations in the past, from small raids to big raids to small hosts to big hosts. First should always be your community. You should always pay attention to them because they were there for you originally. You're not going to retain everybody from a host or a raid. It's impossible. I always put the same effect as when I was a professional DJ. You can't please 100% of the audience all the time. Yep. You go for the majority of the people, and don't change yourself just to try to pull extra people either, because when the raid's over with, you got to go back to being what you were before. And it's like, maybe the people you already have don't like the new you tried to be, and you know, and then what do you do then, you know? So just be you. That's probably the most important thing to do, is just be you. If things become a little bit too much for you, if say you get a really big raid, you know, that's when you have the option to put on like follower only mode or something like that, or slow chat. You know, these are things that like will help you get a hold on the chat. And also if it's a raid you don't want or something like that, that's another thing that can help you as well. Those modes are there to protect you from whatever you're not comfortable with. So I would say at least start there.
Yep. MicDub.
For me, again, I mean, hosts and raids don't usually happen to me a ton, at least not these days for whatever reason. I mean, it's kind of random, but I think, yeah, basically what these guys are saying, just don't hold too much stock in when people leave. I mean, I watched Tim the Tatman a lot. Every now and again, he'll host someone. I mean, also like Dr. Lupo, a lot of times will host or raid someone. And, you know, those guys are usually around 10K viewers. Plus, obviously, Tim is like way higher. And when they host or raid someone, yeah, people will stick around for a little bit, but it'll go down really quickly. And you notice it. But at the same time, it's like, if it's in the same category, I feel like you have a better chance of retaining those viewers. So, you know, if Vel hosts or raids someone who's streaming Tarkov and he just got done playing it, they're probably going to stick around longer, just because they're interested in watching the game. But, you know, if you're going from just chatting to, you know, ASMR, I mean, ASMR is very niche. I mean, like I like it, but like not everybody likes it. So I might stick around, but most other people would be like, oh, this is weird. They're scratching a microphone. So like,
Right.
So I would say don't put too much stock into it. It's not an indicator of you as a streamer, and like, it doesn't mean that you're doing a bad job. And, you know, again, hosts and raids, especially if they're not from friends, if they're from like other people, a lot of times they're kind of random. So you can't really beat yourself up if, you know, people leave, and it's hard to be prepared for them. I did see someone in chat. I think Val, you're probably about to say this, but Mr. Pure Instinct said, to piggyback on the raid question, what do you guys think of introducing yourself when they come in? Example, hey guys, I'm MPI. I play a variety of games here on Twitch. We talk about mental health, drink a lot of coffee together, that kind of thing. I mean, personally, what I do, I'm just like, I mean, that's good. I mean, personally, I say, hey guys, my name is Micah, also known as MicDub. Watching MicDubTV, obviously. I am a variety streamer. Today we're playing blank. Then I say, We also do Short Film Saturday, first and third Saturday of the month, where we go on Vimeo, watch different short films and stuff like that. So kind of talk about the content that you make, and then say, if you enjoy the stream, or feel free to stick around for a little bit. If you enjoy the stream, I'd love to have you as a part of my community. Go ahead and hit the follow button. So,
yeah.
Something around those
if I could add a little bit more to that,
yeah, for sure.
Let's evaluate what a host and a raid really are. A host and a raid is another streamer appreciating you or wanting to take their time and their audience and bring them over to you. Not the number that comes with it. So when those people come into your channel, like, it could be a small number, it could be a big number. It's the other person taking time to tell people to go watch you. Treat it as two different things. Treat it as like if you were to meet someone in real life and you don't introduce yourself, that's considered extremely rude. So, when you come in, introduce yourself to them, because they don't know who you are. Unless you're a regular person they raid, they don't know who you are. So do that. Also, think of it as like a surprise birthday party, and you don't know that someone's planning it for you. You're not just going to walk in the room and everybody else surprise, and you're just going to shrug your shoulders and walk away. You wouldn't do that. Acknowledge them. And like I said, but don't get discouraged by their numbers leaving, because they don't know you. You have the time to get them to know you, but in the end of the day, whose audience do you really want? Do you want your community, or do you want their community?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've been rated by Tim the Tatman like 3 times now. And I have a couple people that swing by every once in a while. I got one person out of the 3 raids. I have one person that is a dedicated, like core member in the community. You know what I mean? And so I've also had really bad experiences with reacting to one of these raids. I've had really good experiences reacting to these raids, because so the first one, it didn't go well at all. I dropped the F word a lot. I was just freaking out. I was panicking, and I was having a bad day on the stream. Didn't go well. Second one went a lot better. Third one, awesome. And that's actually the one where that one core community member came from, was the more recent one. And so I will say it is a great idea to introduce yourself, because basically you, like, all these viewers that you have now on your channel, they're not Tim the Tatman's viewers anymore, because he's not streaming. They're in your channel, so they're your viewers, and you need to give them an opportunity to meet you, like they've all been saying. So you want to give them, who you are, what you do, the rundown of your channel, and then you just want to continue the stream like it's any other stream. You know what I mean? And you 100% will lose a lot of those viewers. Like,
most of them.
Like, so the first one I did, I was playing Dark Souls 3. Tim had raided from Fortnite, and that's a very different game. So he came in with like 22,000 people, and it went down to like 100 within like a minute or two. I'm like, that hurts your heart. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of people that were just like, yeah, no, F this dude, I don't want to see him. And so like that one sucked. But like, so the other games I was playing, like Apex or Rainbow Six Siege, and like that obviously had a lot better turnaround. But it's all about the level of comfort that you show as a streamer. And either way, regardless, you're probably still not going to retain many of those viewers. You might get a lot of those lurkers that, are just, they were lurking in Tim's channel, so they're lurking in yours now, so you have those leftover views. And so it's all about just entertaining the people who like you for the content that you already make. So just be yourself, do your thing, run the stream like you normally would. And like, yeah, a lot of people just left, but think of how much higher up on the directory you are because of this raid and because of those lurkers that are still around. You don't want to be down in the dumps because a lot of people just left, when a lot of people are going to be jumping in now. You know what I mean? Like, even though he came in with 22,000 viewers and I dropped to 100, the reaction wasn't right when I saw it drop to 100, and I was sad. The reaction should have been, well, think of how much higher I am on the directory, so more people are going to be coming in now. I need to think about how I'm going to entertain these other people that would normally never be here. And so you can never get butthurt about losing viewers. You can never worry about retaining anything, because regardless of whether or not they're a core viewer, they could always be gone immediately and just never come back because they could just choose not to show up anymore. So it's just about making the content you can and just being the content creator that you are.
Yeah, I agree with that totally.
Well said.
You know,
I'll add one more thing to this.
Yeah.
So if raids, best way I can think of raids is imagine if your raid is a church service on Sunday, and after your stream, you go to a football game. Not everyone wants to go watch a football game. It's not because the football game is bad. It's just because they don't want to watch football.
Right.
So, boom, keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure. You're not gonna be able to entertain everybody. You're just not. And people are gonna leave, and you just gotta have fun with the opportunity that you have in front of you.
Also, if it's the first time you're ever getting a big raid, it's okay to freak out. It's okay to have that oh my god moment. Like, you could do that.
Oh my gosh, co-gaming.
Yeah. It's okay. It's like the first time you got 100,000 bits or whatever donated.
Right.
It's okay to have those moments. We all had those moments. But just like I said, just don't totally freak out. Like I've had the same thing. Yeah, I've had the same thing. The first time I am Brandon rated me, and he was on the front page of Twitch.
Oh my god.
And I looked at the number. I was playing Breath of the Wild. All of a sudden it said 54,000 something. I'm like, that's not real. No way that's real.
It's like, wait.
You think you're getting trolled at first.
Yeah. And then I had this Doctor Strange meditation moment, and I'm just like and I'm like, all right. And I closed my eyes. I literally pictured my desk. This is the only reason I thought about this, because you mentioned football. I literally pictured my desk on a 50-yard line of a football stadium. And I'm like, what stadium can I fill with this number? And I'm like, that's what's around me right now.
I've arrived.
Yeah.
Witness me.
It's a crazy feeling realizing that there's that many people just all of a sudden that just showed up to basically your stream room, and it can be super overwhelming. And like he was saying, it is okay to have that immediate freak out where like you kind of panic and you don't know what to do. But that's when you have to kind of like try to reel it in, and that's where the streamer confidence comes in. You have to, because if they see that you're like that you're freaking out, like you're actually panicking, they're gonna be like, well, this guy's obviously not a serious content creator because he's just not handling this very well. Right. And that's not necessarily true, but a viewer is going to see it like that. So that's where you have to bring in that confidence. You have to reel it in, and that's when you have to make the content you know how to make. Because as soon as you start thinking too much or doing whatever, like worrying too much, that's when your content is going to start to fall back, because you're realizing there's so many people watching. What do I even do now? When in reality, you just do the exact same thing that you were doing before that.
Joke about it too. You know, I joked about it. I said, guys, there's so many of you guys coming in here right now. My chat looks like the Matrix being decoded. You know, I can't keep up with it. And then you have that moment after you settle down. You're like, he's starting to believe, and you can actually see the chat slowing down in front of you, and you'll settle in. So it's totally fine.
Also.
Absolutely. What's up? You were going to say something?
No, I said well said.
Oh, I thought you said also.
No. I'm done.
Right, I mean, if you don't want to talk, that's fine. I get it. Yeah, but hopefully we're able to answer that question for you, man. Really, really important one, because every streamer eventually will get some sort of raid that they're not used to, and going over how to handle that is pretty important. We don't get that question too much. So good question, my dude. Green Cord asks, why do you guys think Escape from Tarkov has blown up lately? Is it just the drops, or is there more to it? What should other game devs take away from Tarkov's example? Dub.
Go ahead.
I don't understand this one. Sadomi looked really excited.
I am, but go ahead.
Okay. I mean, for me, it seems like drops was a massive deal. And I think a lot more people play the game than we had anticipated, it seems, because drops really did it did numbers, like, for everybody. I feel like anyone that had drops in their stream kind of took off. I mean, you see Pestily was like he was over 100K. I mean, that's insane. I don't think I'd seen a Tarkov streamer with more than 25K before.
Right.
Unless it was like Summit, or I mean, even him, it was probably around 25K. I don't know, man. I think what other devs should take away from, and I think what Battle State, who makes Tarkov, what they should take from it is that drops are good. Obviously, it's kind of messed with the market a little bit, I think, from what I've heard in Tarkov. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like if your game's getting that much popularity based off of these drops, it can't really be that bad. You may take a little hit in the market, but I mean, I don't know. I think other games have done drops and things like that, and it hasn't really blown up in the same way. Obviously, every now and again, Overwatch will have some drops, and some streamers will like pop off a little bit. Like XQC obviously has a lot of viewers. Seagull will come back a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, I don't know, man. It was insane to me. Sorry, Sadomi, go ahead. I know you're like chomping at the bit.
Okay, so no, you're good. You're fine. I like hearing, like I said, hearing different perspectives of things. So I did a bit of research because I was interested in this too. So I'm going to start off with a very strong statement. It is very hard to ban streamers for botting.
Going the other direction.
Game companies like promotion. Top of the Twitch directory is pretty good promotion. Drops always increase viewership and the number of lurkers. So I'm just wondering how many of those.
Bell's face. He's like,
I'm wondering how many of those views were 100% legitimate, and how many of those were people with alternate Twitch accounts linked to alternate Tarkov accounts to get those drops. I'm not sure if trading in marketplace works. I'm not sure if there's a market for that. Is there a market for that, Valley? You can probably trade across accounts.
There's ways around it a little bit, but it's pretty difficult. Especially now they made some updates to fix that.
Okay. So, and I'm not saying people were botting or that the Tarkov devs are botting. I'm not saying that. What I am saying though, yeah, Director said the Devin Nash did a video on this. Is pretty much what I'm kind of like echoing. But when you think about it, it does make sense. And I know for Rocket League is a good example too. Their world championships always have drops on them, and that definitely increases viewership, if not just for the fact that the world championships. But let's say I was a what's a good game that's not Tarkov? We'll just use Tarkov because it's a great example. Let's say I am Tarkov. I'm not really killing the directory. I'm up there, but I'm not like bottom of the barrel. I want to increase viewership during the main release or something, okay? During a major event. During a major update. We release drops. We increase viewership. And now, let's say we want to get as much promotion as possible. Well, I'm assuming it's pretty cheap to either embed your Twitch clips, your Twitch videos, because you can, what's it called? You can embed your Twitch streams onto websites, and it won't play. People won't even know, and you can increase viewership that way. I'm just wondering if another game company is going to look at this and be like, oh, drops. Interesting. Bots. Interesting. I'm not saying anyone's botting. But again, yeah, how many people on Twitch are actually bots too? That's a good. How can I put that? I don't know. My thoughts was very scattered because I really do like how the marketing event for Tarkov being top of the directory is probably the best promotion. I wasn't talking about Tarkov until I saw Valley play it, and then now people are talking about it, which, if you're talking about something, it's good. It's people in the minds. So I'm just wondering how many of those views were legitimate and how many there were crafted. Not saying that all of them were illegal, just actual bots, but how many were I don't want to say fabricate. I think fabricate is a good word for that.
I don't know if any obviously some but that's in general. Twitch has bots on it. Right. That could be people trolling. That could be anything because people 100% will try to troll you by putting view bots in your channel in order to get they've done it for people to get like when they're pushing partner, and then Twitch will see that they have all these really interesting accounts, you know what I mean, and so they'll deny the partnership because somebody was trolling them to do that. However, in this situation, I'm not even really worried about what the number would be, because I feel like most of the views that were there are from the Tarkov player base that doesn't necessarily watch the streams or anything, but they were just watching just to get these drops because everybody wants free stuff in the game that they're playing. And in this game specifically, with the way that the flea market works in it and everything, It's really, really important to get as much free stuff as you can in order to set yourself higher above the rest of the people, so you can sell those things, get more in-game currency, get better in-game equipment to kill more enemy players with that good equipment. You know what I mean? So I think most of it is, just people who weren't necessarily watching Twitch that that still play the game and just obviously have a sudden interest in watching Twitch once they are able to get free things. But I guess what other developers could get out of this is, obviously drops have worked successfully for a lot of games. The very first one I think was Warframe. Yeah, it was Warframe was the first one that really got drops, and that blew up Warframe for that weekend that they were doing it, or week, whatever it was. But another thing on top of that is Tarkov might not be it might not be a fully developed game yet. It's still in beta, but the developers are working on patches almost every week, it seems, where there's an update coming out and they're working on things, as opposed to back when I played Rainbow Six Siege. There's still bugs and glitches that exist now in that game that existed back 4 or 5 months ago when I was playing that game. You know what I mean? But these things that happen in Tarkov developers are working on them pretty frequently in order to better their game the best that they can. And I think people are realizing that. So there's a lot that you can take as a game developer from this most recent drop with Tarkov. And I think it's mostly that drops are great to build awareness about your game, and then also to show that you're working on it from what you've previously done. Because there's obviously people that were playing Tarkov a while ago, didn't like it back then, but got back into it recently, have been and have noticed the changes and the updates to make the game a lot better than it's previously been. So, keep your game updated, work on things, fix your glitches, and do Twitch drops.
So one more thing too I was looking at is it's just kind of sketchy to me, because on December 29th, Tarkov had 31,000 viewers. Or 31,000 viewers. January 5th, it had, I think at its peak, 280,263 viewers. That's all. Go ahead.
You also have to take into account that a lot of people on Twitch, I mean, technically I don't have these numbers, but I'm assuming a lot of people on Twitch, frequent, especially if you're in Twitch culture, right? Like we are, you take notice at what's on top.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not usually there. Like when WoW Classic came out, there were a lot more people watching WoW Classic than had ever watched it before. Like people who had never watched WoW were watching WoW just because it was up there. So you also, I do think, let's be honest. There were probably some bots.
For sure.
But at the same time, you have to think, okay, there's a shooter at number 1 again. And it's not Fortnite.
It's also not a battle royale.
Yeah, exactly. Like
genre of games.
And it's a hardcore FPS. Like it's unforgiving. It's really unlike anything on the market except for maybe like Hunt Showdown. And Hunt Showdown's like a more tame, quote unquote, watered down, tame version of Tarkov. So I think the interest in it, I was watching a lot more Tarkov. And I don't even have the game. I think that's a big explanation for that. Especially when it happens so quickly, people are like, okay, well, surely, and the number that you gave was its peak, because I think probably when it started, it probably didn't go up a ton. It may have doubled, or maybe it went up a little more.
Are you talking about EFTs?
Yeah,
or Warcraft? Okay,
yeah, EFT. So I don't know. I think, obviously with anything like that, and you hate to make they're a Russian company, I'm just kidding.
They already sent nukes one place. Let's not die today.
I hate to be that guy, but there's a chance. But at the same time, I really do think that they care about their game. I don't think that they're the type of devs that would be like, all right, guys.
Yeah. Well, I might say
let's get it going. Yeah.
the devs might have done. It might have been
sure.
like it could be whoever, because like I said, you can't really track botting anywhere really. At least I'm not sure if Twitch has the tools to do that. But you do notice with games that do spike up, they do have kind of a, this is how they go. They kind of go, and then they kind of come down and go.
Yeah. And also, I mean, just gauging like the chat interaction that you would see in those streams when it was popping, like chat was flowing. Like, so to me, that's an indicator, because a lot of people on Twitch don't chat, like they just watch. So if you just look at kind of how chat interaction was, I mean, I think it's legit, but I mean, you do bring up a good point. I mean, there may be some foul play involved.
Yeah. And now the biggest thing too I wanted to allude to was, do we think that companies are going to try and use a Twitch directory to market their game going forward? And by do that, I mean like actually trying to get to that top spot and kind of do what Tarkov does. Because if a tiny team like that can reach that level of peak for a week, what can a team that's dedicated to researching top of the Twitch directory can do?
Right. I definitely think it legitimized using Twitch to blow your game up.
Yeah,
100%. And like, not that it needed that, because you know Twitch has already done so much for gaming in the first place. You know, where the streamers were getting paid huge amounts of money just to play Tarkov when it first released, just to generate the the interest in that game alone. But like for Tarkov's been in open beta now for, I want to say, almost 2 years. And back when I played it, there was like very little interest in the game. You know what I mean? Then I stopped playing it, and then started playing it maybe like a month before the drops happened. But I definitely think that more game developers are going to start looking into using Twitch, or using, well, hopefully mostly Twitch if they're smart, because that's where the market share is for live streaming. But I think they're going to start using Twitch as a way to market their games and to get the word out there more, because it's clearly worked. It worked for Warframe, worked for Apex, it's worked for, I think Grand Theft Auto had something going on a while ago, and now it's clearly worked for Escape from Tarkov. And if you don't notice that, then you're clearly not doing your job as a game marketer. Like you need to get your game out somehow, and clearly this is working really, really well. Anybody else got anything on this one?
No.
All right. So Green, hopefully we're able to talk about that and answer your question for you. We got a question from McKeeves. This might be the last one, because it's getting close to the end of the show. So McKeeves says, would any of you have a suggestion for people just starting out and may not have the best quality, and how to deal with it? So like just starting out as a streamer, your computer necessarily isn't the best, your internet connection might not be the best, but you're just trying to do what you can to make the best out of that situation that you're in. Who wants to start here?
I'll start on this one.
Okay.
I would say the best advice I give to you starting out, you don't need all the best equipment. I think there's too many people out there that think you need the best equipment to have a successful stream. I even thought that when I first started out. I thought that, if I had the best quality, the best sounding mic, the top keyboard, mouse, everything like that, I thought, like, okay, the better I make the stream look, the more people will want to click on my stream and come see me. And that's not true. I mean, yes, those things do help, because people don't want to strain their eyes when they look at your stream. Stream within the means that you have. The most important things, you need, a camera and a game to play. The best piece of equipment you have already, and everybody has the best piece of equipment off the bat, and that's you, the content creator. So just like, if you're just starting off, like, start small. Don't go all in on it, because especially if you're just starting off, you don't even know if you're going to like this. You might do 5 streams and be like, you know what, it's a lot harder, because a lot of people, myself and a lot of streamers, and maybe some of you guys too, like, when I first started out, I'm like, oh man, all you gotta do is play games and read chat. I'm like, I could do that. I'm like, I should blow up instantly on Twitch. Not realizing, like, the first thing that hits most people is I have to play a game and read chat, and everybody thought that was easy, and that's not easy to do at the exact same time. You have to, it's a way you have to train your eye to actually see chat. Like, that's the number one hard thing. A lot of people don't realize also that, like, you're the one-man show.
Yeah. It's all you.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people, like we talked earlier, like, don't get down on yourself if your content isn't where it needs to be, because if you look at like there's awards shows out there, like the Grammys and all that stuff, and they break it down into categories, and people have to just hone in on that one craft to get that award. You have to be the whole show. You know, if you're the top guy on Twitch, you're winning every category at the Grammys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, just start off, just do it, get in front of the camera. It doesn't have to be best. My first stream ever was a Castlevania stream on a MacBook Pro.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
And I literally did it, and I was like, okay, this is fun. I want to do this more. And eventually I just went out and bought a computer and did it. I bought a little bit more than I needed to when I first started off, but you know what? I'm happy with the decision I made, but I know some people who aren't happy with all the decisions they made. They put themselves into debt, and they didn't know this was for them.
No, I wasn't raising my hand to agree with that or say that I spent that money.
Just throwing it out there. Like,
I would say
right now.
I had some things to say.
Yeah, dude.
Like I said, I started streaming when I was in college. I'm 27 now. It's been a few years, but I started on my PlayStation. You know, no camera, just a headset with a mic. Yeah, that's actually when Twitch was a lot easier to grow on because there weren't as many people on the platform. I remember, I was playing PES, the soccer game from Konami, and I played it on launch. I had like 175 viewers, and it was 2015, I think, or. Yeah, and like I was number one in the PES directory for like 2 or 3 days, and it was like, oh, I'm popping right now. And I think one day I got like 100 followers in a day or something like that. But anyway, that was a good time. But I mean, you can start. Yeah, I mean, if all you have is a console, like if you have the drive to do it, then do it. Like, don't let fear or, don't worry about viewers. Just go out and do it. I will say, before we get into like hardware and stuff, marketing yourself is a big deal. So if you want people to watch it, tell your friends about it, tweet about it. Make Instagram or like make a live story on Instagram. Say, hey guys, I'm trying Twitch out for the first time. Come check it out. Tell me what you think. First and foremost, like I wasn't doing that when I started. I was just going live. But now you kind of have to because Twitch is so saturated. And not just Twitch, but YouTube or Mixer or Facebook Gaming. You have to, market yourself. I think I agree with Lethal as far as like get a camera. However, I don't want to be that guy. If you have a good voice, invest in a mic.
Yes.
Because there are times, and most people struggle with confidence about their looks or about, what their stream looks like or whatnot. So a very good thing to do if you have, you don't even have to have a great voice to your own ear, but like, if you do, and people have told you that, invest in a mic. Because if you have a good mic, that will come through on the stream. Because if you have like a crappy camera and a crappy mic, then that's going to significantly take down your stream quality. You can find a good mic for, $50, $40. Yep. My mic was over $100, but then again, I do more stuff with my mic than just stream. So it's like, it makes sense for me, but not for everyone. So, and just have fun, like hardware is one thing, but if you're, like we said earlier, if you're not enjoying your own content or if you're not, enjoying what you're doing, then, there's not really any point, right?
Yeah,
that's true. Sadomi?
So I like using athletes' perspectives because I am one, and growing up playing sports, I learned this lesson.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect to hit the free throw if you don't shoot free throws at practice every day. Mm-hmm. So you just got to get out there and do it and just practice, because you will learn more in doing 100 streams than you will watching 1,000 videos by whoever. So just go and just do it. Literally just do it. Like right now, after this stream, after you listen to this podcast, even if you're in your car and you got free data, just download Twitch app, press go live, and just start talking. Yeah, no one's probably going to come through, but guess what? That's going to happen. You have to earn your viewers. You have to deliver them value, and you have to make sure you just do it. And you'll learn. Like I say, no matter how much you listen to us, unless you do it yourself, you won't really learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
So just do it. Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really quickly.
Yeah, do it.
Sorry. I'm just looking in chat. Don Tran says, starting Twitch today with no cam is hard. It's like fighting with one hand tied behind your back. McKeeb said, or pardon me, Troy Edwards said, having a mic and adjusting your volume correctly where you aren't drowned out by the game and people can hear you without having to lean down to their speakers. I think that's really important. I will address Don because I do think for a lot of people, not having a camera isn't a good idea. But, you know, I think it also depends on what game you're playing. Like if I'm playing Hearthstone, and again, I stream with cam and a good microphone. So, but if you're playing like Hearthstone or a game where reactions aren't really that important, like investing in a mic is fine. But if you're streaming like GTA or, you know, games like that where it's really high intensity and stuff, it may behoove you to get a camera. Like it's sorry, my dad's British. Anyway, may behoove you to get a camera because a lot of people want to be entertained on Twitch. They want to see your reactions. I mean, I've seen Vel's reactions. I know my own reactions. I mean, a lot of time I dance on stream. Some of my channel points go to making me dance at will. So that's another way. Having a camera is a good way to interact with your stream, and they can put a face to the name. But you know, it all just comes down to what you think is more important. But I don't know. I will say, when I switched to PC, I was like, I got to get a camera because it's important. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Let me add something onto that.
Yeah.
When I first started getting into streaming, like the most popular camera was the Logitech C920, and it's still probably one of the most popular cameras out there.
That's what I
have. And mine's an upgrade from that right now, but I still have my C920 sitting right on my desk, and it was like $125 for that camera when it first came out, and now you probably get it for like $50.
Yeah.
Secondly, the whole thing about Twitch is like we're all just trying to be creative anyway. Here's another thing: if you guys don't have that $50, most of you guys have a cell phone. It has a camera on the back of it. You could use that for streaming too. And if you want to take it a step further and you're not self-conscious about it, take a selfie, post it up on the screen, put it in a little box, and that's your camera.
Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do.
Anytime you have a reaction, put another selfie up there. You know, like
yeah,
like. If you could discount this a lot, you don't need the streaming lights or anything like that. Like, the more advanced streamers have them, but you don't need that. There's people that go to Menards and get like a little desk lamp, and that's their streaming light, you know. And you don't need all the monitors and all that stuff. Like, you know, just do the best with what you got. If you don't have the best microphone, make it sound good.
Yep.
If you don't have the best camera, make it look good. If you don't have the best, if you can't make it look good, make your background look good. You know, just have fun with it. All these guys here. And
I got my bed and my couch, and
That's right. My room's dark.
I think all these this is what I'll leave it on. I think all these guys here would agree on this, that none of us up here and all the guests that have been on this show, nobody's had the same path in streaming. Everybody takes a different path to get to where they want to be on this platform. So you know, my path has been different from everybody else's, and your path will be different from everybody else's. And every piece of advice you get from us or people in the past, don't take it as 100% of what it is, because I've known that like people giving good advice in the past and it just doesn't work today because the flow of Twitch has changed. I always tell people like look at it like advice as like a rock sitting on a paper towel, and it's just slowly going to rip through it. Eventually that advice is not going to have any value anymore. So just, like I said, do you and take everybody's advice with a grain of salt and you'll be fine. Just do what makes you happy.
For sure. I want to make this real short and sweet because we got to get wrapping up here, but just to top everything off that everybody's been saying, I agree with what Sadomi was talking about. Like you have to just make content. You have to just do it, and no one's going to show up. But that's part of the grind of streaming. You have to have those bad streams before you can learn. Streaming is a lot like stand-up comedy in the way that stand-up comics have to have a lot of bad shows to learn what kind of stand-up comedian they are. They have to figure out what's funny because they like even still like stand-up comics have bad shows even if they're like towards like the top of their career. You just have to be able to work out the kinks in yourself as a content creator. So you have to go in, take those punches and learn from them, make that content. There might not be anybody there or maybe just like one or two, but if you get one or two on your first day, you're crushing it. You know what I mean? So just go in there, make content, roll with the punches, and learn as much as you can. And like everybody here has been saying, don't worry about the quality of the equipment that you have. Make the best of it. People like to see that Rocky Balboa, story where you start with nothing and you work your way up to, just being the champ. And it's cool to see that progression as a streamer. I know when I started, I didn't have anything really. I didn't have this microphone, that light, any of this stuff. But if you just keep progressing through and you get what you want, you keep adding to the quality of your stream, people are going to appreciate that. So don't worry about the quality, just worry about yourself as a content creator. But I think that's all we got time for today. Troy, Edward, we're going to be answering your question next week on Monday. Anybody else, if you guys have anything else you guys want us to talk about for next week, make sure to hit us up on Twitter or in the Discord. We can answer your questions there. We're going to do some sign-offs now, starting with MicDubTV.
All right, guys. Once again, I'm just going to do my spiel. My name is Micah, also known as MicDub. My channel is called MicDubTV. You can find me obviously on Twitch. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at MicDubTV. If you like food, film, video games, come to my channel. I would love if you guys would want to be a part of my community. We're called Dubians. Yeah, guys, I'm a variety streamer. I'm on Monday through Thursday, 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. First and third Saturday of every month, we do Short Film Saturday, which I bring my film background into the stream and we review different short films on Vimeo. So yeah, I guess.
Awesome. LethalJ.
I'm LethalJ on Twitch. You can also find me on Twitter at LethalJTV. I'm also able to be found at Twitch Chicago on Twitter. If you guys ever want to come on down to the Twitch Chicago event, we hold them twice a year. I love meeting new people there. That's what the meetups are all about, is us networking and hanging out together. So if any of you guys are ever in the Chicagoland area, I would love to hang out with you. I've met Veli came to my event and I had a lot of fun. So, and
Absolutely.
we just met like that, like it's cool stuff like that. You could find at your local meetups, and the conversations we're having here happen at those meetups in your cities as well too.
Absolutely. Mr. Sadomi.
Everyone, thank you for listening to the StreamKey Podcast. I've been your wonderful co-host Sadomi, and you guys don't know, I'm on currently the Sadomi redemption arc. Okay, 2020 is where the anime of Sadomi's life hits the climax. Okay, we're getting up there, we're going forward, because before was having myself, but I'm gonna take you all on the journey of self-improvement. So if you want to join me on that journey, I have a saying, and it says knowledge is power and power is freedom. So when if you come to any of my content, anything I see, my main goal is knowledge. So I hope you can join me on this journey. We'll also be live pretty much 30 minutes after this stream, because I want to help Britt with his channel, because we're going to sit down, we're going to give him a nice little audit, and we're going to work through that. So if you're interested in that, come through. If you're on the podcast, I'll probably have a video of it up on my YouTube channel. Other than that, thank you again for having me again. Veli, you're a wonderful host. I love you.
Love you too, baby. And so I'm Velok, BELOKK_TV. It's the same on everything, all the social medias and stuff like that. Been playing a lot of Tarkov, and if you guys want to stop by and hang out, have a good time, you know where to find me. All right, guys, that was a good show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And as always, blaze up. Take it easy, my dudes.